Hello, sports fans and ball knowers alike. Welcome to this exciting Thursday edition of Jake's Hot Takes. I am your host, Jake McVey, alone by myself again.
That's not very true at all.
Oh, Matt! Matt's back.
Returned.
Matt has just gotten back from competing in the World Foosball Championship. How'd it go, Matt?
I lost, unfortunately.
Well.
Hence why I'm back here.
Yeah, we love to see you competing. We love to see you competing, so.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get a chance to catch that Knicks and Celtics game?
Yes, I did. It was quite the game, you could say, at least.
Yeah, quite the game, to say the least.
Yeah.
The Knicks got smoked again, ladies and gentlemen. We got smoked once again by one of the top three teams in the NBA. Just a brutal outing. I mean, the Celtics didn't even really play that good across the entire game. They came out hot with a commanding 38 points in the first quarter. They held an easy 19-point lead on the Knicks, and they pretty much didn't look back after that. The Knicks had an all right rest of the game, ended up with 105. The Celtics had a very average rest of the game, but that deficit that they put the Knicks in early, there was no way that team was crawling out of that hole. You could just tell. Celtics finished with almost the exact margin of victory that they took in the first quarter, as long as you don't count five.
Yeah, I think my main takeaway for this is that McCall Bridges has to step up. For what the Knicks have given up for him, he has just not been playing to that level yet. And it's kind of disappointing to see.
I completely agree. Early in the season, I was actually pretty big on Bridges as a Knick. But as the season has gone on, I just like what I see out of him less and less. It's not only that his play isn't there, it looks like he might be throwing off the rhythm of some of the other guys on the court. I can tell you that Jalen Brunson, despite the impressive performance, 22 points on 9 of 19 shooting, Brunson did not look like himself tonight, or not tonight, the other night, and just not like himself. And Anthony Towns, he had a great game too. Don't get it wrong. 18 rebounds and 24 points. That is the kind of big physical play that I really wanted to see out of Karl Anthony Towns. You know, getting up to almost 20 rebounds is about as good of a performance for a big man like that. I know that Cat is notoriously like the scoring big man, but just seeing him get his hands dirty a little bit and rack up some of those other stats other than points. Don't forget, he was the team's top leading scorer, too. 24 points for Karl Anthony Towns, the big bodega.
Well, Cat has been playing well all season. I mean, Cat and Brunson are both all-stars, but I also just don't like how Thibodeau coached in this game. I mean, they got to the point where they were down 4, and then he sat Brunson, and I just did not understand that decision.
Yeah, it just didn't. And don't even get me started on the whole Towns situation. For those of you who don't know, Karl Anthony Towns agitated some kind of injury in his knee, and Tom Thibodeau made him finish out the game. Just should not have put our players in that situation. I mean, this team is already dealing with so many injuries. You had OG Anunoby missing some time. You had Josh Hart missing some time. Mitchell Robinson is still not found his way onto the court, which we will talk about later. But overall, it just was a poor coaching performance out of Thibodeau. I mean, Joe Mazzulla did his thing, got out there and really just put the hands on him in the coaching department. I just did not like the looks. The Celtics were just getting free looks at the basket pretty much every possession. They were just chucking up threes, doing it the Celtic way. I mean, every player on the team, barring 2 of their bench players, had at least 4 3-point attempts. And that's just not sustainable. You can't play defense. Like are they not playing perimeter? Like, I watched the game. I know. They're just not doing good perimeter defense.
Yeah, it's definitely disappointing to see.
And, you know, defensively, there's a lot of things that people talk about, like an easy fix. And, you know, a lot of people are saying, oh, just wait until Mitchell Robinson gets back. That'll be the easy defensive fix. Mitchell Robinson's not a perimeter defender. He's good for the rim. He's better than Karl Anthony Towns at the rim, I'll tell you that much. But he is not a perimeter guy. He cannot go out and even guard like the shooting big men that we're seeing. You know, a guy like Al Horford on the Celtics or Kristaps Porzingis, just to name 2 examples. A guy like Jokic or Anthony Davis, you know, a guy that has a little bit of a bag. Mitchell Robinson's not guarding that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so concerned about this team's ability to play defense on the perimeter. It really does scare me.
Yeah, I think the thing about it is that obviously they also got blown out by the Cavs a couple days ago, and now they get blown out by the Celtics, and it really just makes you question if the Knicks really do have the personnel necessary to compete with those two teams in a 7-game series.
Yeah, I think offensively, and I said this last episode, I think offensively this Knicks starting five can hang with the best in the league. As a matter of fact, I'm almost inclined to say offensively this is the best starting five in the league. But defensively, it's like these holes become more and more apparent, you know? Josh Hart was supposed to be a defensive anchor for this team, and he's been a great defender. He's been a decent defender. He hasn't been stellar. Definitely not making any all-defense teams, but he has not controlled the pace of the game whatsoever. And I think that is something that Thibodeau and the Knicks were kind of anticipating him doing coming into the season. It's one thing to be able to... The difference that I think of it, it's like a guy who's good at facilitating an offense versus a guy who's really good at scoring. I'll take Carmelo Anthony, for example. Great at scoring, not good at facilitating an offense. Josh Hart, great at defense, not good at facilitating a defense. And that's what this team needs right now.
Well, I think similarly with defenses, we already talked about him, but McCall Bridges has not lived up to the standard that they hoped he would, bringing him in for that. They brought him in to be a defensive player, to be a defensive anchor, and he hasn't lived up to that.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. A lot of the guys, and there were even talks saying that Karl Anthony Towns was going to step up his defensive game under Thibodeau's leadership. It just feels like there are so many guys that are on this team right now that we had very big defensive expectations for that are just not meeting those expectations. And it's unfortunate. It's sad to see. It's how you get, down 19 in the first quarter, letting a team score 38 points. I mean, you look at the Celtics shooting metrics, and they shot almost 50% from the field, and they shot 38 from three, and that was good because the Knicks shot 38 from three too, but the Celtics just took so many more shots that even though their percentages are close, the Celtics obviously had a better shooting night because they took way more threes. But those are just the little things that tend to frustrate me. Let's look a little more towards the future, all right? What are you seeing out of this Knicks squad that you think might be a problem in their next game against the Memphis Grizzlies?
Well, I think the answer for that lies in, will the Knicks be able to turn over the Memphis Grizzlies like they were last time? Last time they played, they overturned them 26 times to 10, and that is just great defense. And after a game like this against the Celtics, you need to see the defense step up and get those turnovers like they did last time.
Absolutely. I'm hoping that our defense can kind of pick on this younger Memphis core. Because, like you said, I mean, the turnover stats from last time these two teams played was atrocious. I don't know if the Grizzlies decided to cover their ball in butter or what exactly was happening, but the Knicks just came in, took it from the pocket pretty much whenever they want. It was like a pickpocket on a blind person. Just nothing you could do about it. Like, really kind of a sad situation to watch. The Grizzlies didn't even have bad shooting stats. They shot 45 from the field, 37 from behind the arc. But the Knicks definitely shot better that night. They shot 51 and 38 from behind the arc. Definitely turnovers and scoring, I think, are going to be the two big things that we need to see. Because this Grizzlies team, they are very high caliber. And when the energy starts going, the energy really starts to get going. When Ja Morant can get the team into it and get everybody excited, that is when those Memphis games are won and lost. So I think containing Ja Morant is going to be very good. And Mitchell Robinson actually should be active for this game. And he matches up great against Zach Edey, who I like Zach Edey. I like him a lot as a rookie, but he does not really have the bag work just yet. So I'm expecting Mitchell Robinson to put the clamps on him. And then we just got to hope that... Hart and Anunoby and Robinson can all do their thing defensively. Hopefully Mikal Bridges takes a step forward. But, I mean, as of right now, it's just... the Celtics game is tough, but I think what's really important is that this team just doesn't let that loss get away from them.
I mean, I think that if they lose this game, they have a lot to play for in this game because the Grizzlies are also a 37-win team along with the Knicks now. So if they lose this game, they'll officially be on fraud watch. It's just like that's what it is. They got to be able to beat the good teams, and that's just what they have to do. They have to take care of business here and get the season back on track.
Yeah, I mean the fraud watch is actually massive right now. Back-to-back double-digit losses against the Cavaliers and Boston. Man, that Cavaliers game was brutal.
That was pretty bad.
I'm so glad we didn't have to talk about that on air because I would have been devastated talking about that. I watched that game and I just went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Just nothing you can do after you just get kicked in the head like that. But anyway, when we return, we're going to be talking about Tom Thibodeau and his coaching style. Is it a problem? Is it a benefit? We're going to find out. Then we're going to be talking about what Mitchell Robinson's return to the Knicks means for the team moving forward. Make sure you stay tuned. Jake's Hot Takes.
Thinking about remodeling your kitchen or bath? Wayne's Way Wholesale Cabinets has a great selection of all wood cabinets in the styles and colors to make your remodeling dreams come to life. Go to wayneswaycabinets.com for more info. Wayne's Way Cabinets, 1829 South Road, Wappingers Falls. Call 845-280-0880. Stop by and talk to Wayne today. You'll be glad you did. CDS Auto and Truck Repair is your 5-star one-stop shop for all your vehicle's needs from A to Z, offering full vehicle diagnostics. Towing is available, and they now offer fleet service. CDS Auto and Truck Repair. Call 845-563-9987. That's 845-563-9987. CDS Auto and Truck Repair, 2917 Route 9W, New Windsor.
Herring Septic wants your crap. Herring Septic loves taking crap from everybody. Herring Septic, they really don't give a crap what other septic companies say because they know they're full of crap. Herring Septic has been taking crap from everybody for the past 50 years. So why not let them take your crap? We'll take your crap. Herring Septic does it all, from residential, commercial, pumping, installing, and they even rent porta potties for those of you who give a crap. Visit herringseptic.com. That's herringseptic.com if you give a crap.
The Roma Deli, 237 Myers Corners Road, Wappingers Falls, is your neighborhood family-owned and operated deli, offering breakfast, lunch, and catering options. The Roma Deli has brought a little piece of the Bronx to Wappingers, including fresh-made sandwiches, Italian specialties, and desserts, all prepared and cooked in-house with authentic Italian ingredients. Their large menu provides lots of options to personalize your order to your taste. Vegan and vegetarian options available. The Roma Deli, offering catering that is perfect for any party or business function. Go to romadeli1.com or call 845-297-1200.
Michael's Appliances presents Ask Andy, the appliance expert. Andy, we've been talking about suds left over in the wash. What else should we know?
Soap companies do a great job of taking a wild guess at it, and they do a better job at marketing their product to make money. That's what they're doing. They'll tell you that liquids are better than powders. Liquids are much cheaper for them to produce and ship because they can ship it concentrated, cut it with water at the final mile before they deliver it to the store. And it almost guarantees that you're going to over soap. Most people don't realize this. It's real simple. Clean doesn't smell. If you put detergent in your washing machine and you wash your clothes, and when you're done and you pull them out of your washer, and you take a handful of that clothing and put it up to your nose and take a sniff, if it smells boutique fresh or whatever lavender scent that they put in the detergent, it's because there's still detergent in your clothing.
Shop with the experts. Nobody knows appliances like Michael's Appliance Center, 585 East Main Street, Middletown. Online at michaelsappliance.com.
Hello, sports fans and ball knowers. This is Jake's Hot Takes. We're back!
Sir.
So, after a devastating loss to the Celtics and looking forward to Memphis, I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to. Big man, Mitchell Robinson.
Yes, sir. He is coming back. The starting center for the New York Knicks. He is coming back.
Stepping back on the court.
What do you think this could mean for the Knicks going forward and in this game against the Grizzlies?
I think it means that Mikal Bridges probably isn't starting anymore. I can imagine they're probably going to move Cat down to the 4, probably push Anunoby down to the 3, and then have Josh Hart play the 2. But I have also seen some Knicks fans saying that we need to bench Anunoby or we need to bench Josh Hart. So I'm going to leave the roster decisions up to Tibbs. I'm sure he can figure it out for himself.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of letting Josh Hart coming off the bench. I think he can give valuable minutes off the bench, and I think that's the different look that this Knicks team needs right now. I mean, they can move Cat back to the 4, and he can get some scoring opportunities there. So I think that is what would be best for the team right now if they had Hart come off the bench.
Yeah, it does kind of feel right, you know. Josh Hart, very scrappy player, high energy. He can kind of come in and get the team back on pace in situations where they might be in their own heads a little bit, might be doing the wrong thing a little bit here and there. Just a good equalizer.
Mm-hmm.
So I am curious to see if we're talking who is the worst player on the starting 5. I would still lean Mikal Bridges off.
Yeah, do you think it's better to move him to the bench, or it'd be more valuable to move Hart?
See, it all depends on the scheme that we're going to be running. I know that Tibbs likes having some of his big bodies out there, so it wouldn't surprise me to see Josh Hart coming off the bench and they move OG Anunoby down and let him play a bit of the shooting, or not the small forward, letting Cat kind of play a little bit more to his strengths, you know, less defensive requirements, less rebounding requirements, more scoring opportunities, him at the 4. So that is what I think you can expect, but I think there's a lot of possibilities with this roster, especially with some of the versatility that a guy like Mitchell Robinson brings, you know, taking a lot of the dirty work off of the aforementioned Cat and OG's shoulders. So I'm very excited to see how they're going to end up working Mitchell Robinson back into the starting lineup, and I am curious to see who's going to end up having to sit the bench because of it.
Yeah, I hope it turns out well, but we'll see how it goes against this game against the Grizzlies, because they are a tough opponent. And you know, it might take Robinson a little bit to get back into the swing of things, pick up more minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to start him and then immediately put him in and give him a lot of minutes. But this is going to be more of a transitional game for Robinson, probably.
Yeah, and I mean, those foot injuries, you always need to be careful when you're reevaluating those foot injuries. It'll be his first time playing professional basketball since the postseason last year. Mm-hmm. So it's very important that the Knicks treat this injury with the respect that it deserves, and Robinson takes it all at his own pace, because the last thing that this team needs is another critical injury to a position where we could have really used some help.
Yeah.
So, Matt, I've been thinking, all right? Yeah. I've been pondering, because when I'm not recording this show, I sit in my room and I ponder sports day in and day out. So I've been pondering, do you think that this Knicks team's offense is going to get better or worse with the reintegration of Mitchell Robinson?
I think it's 100% going to get better, because you're going to move Cat back onto the 4 and move Robinson to that 5. And he can be a good rebounder, and he can be a good rim stopper too. So I think that's just going to create more scoring opportunities for Cat. And you know, he's been an all-star at the 5, and why not give him more opportunities to score? I think that will increase the synergy with Brunson really well, and I think it will have an overall positive effect on this Knicks offense.
See, here's the thing. Mitchell Robinson definitely adds a lot to the team in terms of doing some of the dirty work, rebounding and defending. But my problem is Mitchell Robinson is an awful passer. And I think that the advantages of having a guy like Karl Anthony Towns, obviously Towns is still going to get plenty of opportunities to handle the ball and do his passing, but all 5 of these guys that are currently on the starting roster, Brunson, Hart, Bridges, Anunoby, and Towns, they are all at least decent passers. Mitchell Robinson is a bad passer. Let's not get any sort of confusion in the room right now. Yeah. I think Mitchell Robinson is a very bad passer, I would go as far to say. So I do have some concerns that the ball is going to be less mobile with him on the court. It's just a guy who, once you get him the ball, expect him to go right to the rim and expect him to try and score. Don't expect Mitchell Robinson to be giving you crazy dishes on drives or working the offense in any sort of way. I say leave that to Towns, leave that to Brunson, but it just does leave less opportunities on the board for passing. So I just think that's something that we're going to need to pay attention to. Just because we have a guy that can rebound doesn't mean that the ball is going to be flowing better on the offensive side of things.
Well, I feel that the passing opportunities can be handled pretty well by Brunson being as good as a point guard as he is.
Yeah, I mean, Brunson definitely does a lot in terms of facilitation, but, there is a guy on the court there will be a guy on the court who, once you dish him the ball, don't expect it to go anywhere else, But anyway, we're going to pivot real quick because I have some gripes against Tom Thibodeau right now.
Yeah.
All right? I have been kind of remaining laid back throughout most of this conversation when we talked about the Celtics game and the situation with Karl Anthony Towns sustaining an injury to his leg and Thibodeau forcing him to finish out the game. But deep in my heart, this is a situation that really, really frustrates me. Yeah. And I'm about to make that known because that is not something that you can go and be doing. Not with a guy like Karl Anthony Towns.
Definitely
plain and simple.
Not. And he's your big guy, and he's the guy you just traded for. So you got to prioritize your players' health. And I mean, what happened last year in the conference championship against the Pacers? Not the conference championship, the divisional against the Pacers. They had no one by the end of it. They were ravaged with injuries.
Yeah.
So it just can't happen.
And it's the same story with Thibodeau year in and year out. I love the intensity. I love the hustle of it. I love that Thibodeau is willing to put the players in their place and say, you guys are basketball players, you're going to go play some basketball. At the same time, that kind of mentality should not be carried over when the guy that your franchise is banking a whole lot on. Because Karl Anthony Towns, the Knicks have a lot riding on Karl Anthony Towns' sustained success right now. You cannot be acting that kind of way with your players. And I mean, statistically, look, the Knicks have the lowest bench minutes and bench points of any team in the entire NBA. This bench does not see the court. And when it does, they don't do anything. And that just comes down to Thibodeau wanting to run these guys ragged. And I know that guys like Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson can handle those kinds of minutes and they can handle that kind of wear on their body. But guys like Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby, OG Anunoby is coming off an injury himself. Josh Hart is coming off an injury himself. I know I just said that he can run those minutes, but he's coming off an injury himself. It just doesn't make any sense. It frustrates me to no end.
I mean, on top of that, it's almost like the defense for the Knicks has been a disaster all year. I mean, it's not like Cat is an elite defender in any sense of the word. McCall Bridges has not been as good as they had hoped he would be. And Josh Hart, he can play some good defense, but Thibodeau really has not figured out that defense for the Knicks whatsoever against really good offenses.
Yeah. And I think the Celtics, in their last couple meetings with the Knicks, they blew the doors wide open because they understand all you got to do is get to the perimeter and let your three-point shooters shoot and let them start making some buckets, and there's nothing that this Knicks defense can do against you.
Yeah.
And that being said, it's not even like driving to the basket is an impossibility, If the Knicks were really, really great rim defenders and paint and post defenders, but they were just pretty bad on the perimeter, that'd be one thing. But it's not like this Knicks team is even insanely good at defending the post or defending the rim.
Yeah, well, maybe the return of Mitchell Robinson can help that a little bit.
Well, that's what I'm hoping.
That's a big man in the center of the court. But we'll see. Do you think that Tibbs is gone after this year?
No.
No.
I don't.
He's won too much.
I think being number 3 in the East right now, they are number 3 in the East
they're number
still,
3
right?
in the East,
yeah, number 3 in the East. I think this roster has gone through a lot of shakeups. I think this roster has dealt with a lot of injuries, the aforementioned Hart, Anunoby, and Robinson. I wouldn't want, and personally, I don't want Tibbs gone. I don't want Tibbs gone. I want Tibbs to change a little bit. And if that's an impossibility, then that's one thing. But I'm still willing to give Tibbs a lot of leeway. I'm very frustrated. I don't want his job. I don't want him to get fired. But I am very frustrated with him right now. And I think that if this kind of coaching mentality of just running your guys into the ground over and over and over again doesn't work, then I think definitely we need to consider some changes at the coaching position.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening this season, though.
No, definitely not.
Because the Knicks window still is open.
Yeah, definitely. You got a young Brunson.
Make a coaching change like that.
Yeah, you got a young Brunson. You got Karl Anthony Towns. You're doing it all, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, when we get back, we're going to be talking a little football. It's exciting. But we're also going to be talking about what it is that separates the Knicks from the other best teams in the league. Because I don't know if you heard yet, but we've never beaten the Celtics or the Cavaliers or the Thunder. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm sure you're sick of hearing about it. Every freaking sports publishing page has been talking about it. So we're going to join them. So stay tuned. Jake's Hot Takes. Love you.
Thinking about remodeling your kitchen or bath? Wayne's Way Wholesale Cabinets has a great selection of all wood cabinets in the styles and colors to make your remodeling dreams come to life. Go to wayneswaycabinets.com for more info. Wayne's Way Cabinets, 1829 South Road, Wappingers Falls. Call 845-280-0880. Stop by and talk to Wayne today. You'll be glad you did. CDS Auto and Truck Repair is your 5-star one-stop shop for all your vehicle's needs from A to Z, offering full vehicle diagnostics. Towing is available, and they now offer fleet service. CDS Auto and Truck Repair. Call 845-563-9987. That's 845-563-9987. CDS Auto and Truck Repair, 2917 Route 9W, New Windsor.
Herring Septic wants your crap. Herring Septic loves taking crap from everybody. Herring Septic, they really don't give a crap what other septic companies say because they know they're full of crap. Herring Septic has been taking crap from everybody for the past 50 years. So why not let them take your crap? We'll take your crap. Herring Septic does it all, from residential, commercial, pumping, installing, and they even rent porta potties for those of you who give a crap. Visit herringseptic.com. That's herringseptic.com if you give a crap.
The Roma Deli, 237 Myers Corners Road, Wappingers Falls, is your neighborhood family-owned and operated deli, offering breakfast, lunch, and catering options. The Roma Deli has brought a little piece of the Bronx to Wappingers, including fresh-made sandwiches, Italian specialties, and desserts, all prepared and cooked in-house with authentic Italian ingredients. Their large menu provides lots of options to personalize your order to your taste. Vegan and vegetarian options available. The Roma Deli, offering catering that is perfect for any party or business function. Go to romadeli1.com or call 845-297-1200.
Michael's Appliances presents Ask Andy, the appliance expert. Andy, we've been talking about suds left over in the wash. What else should we know?
Soap companies do a great job of taking a wild guess at it, and they do a better job at marketing their product to make money. That's what they're doing. They'll tell you that liquids are better than powders. Liquids are much cheaper for them to produce and ship because they can ship it concentrated, cut it with water at the final mile before they deliver it to the store. And it almost guarantees that you're going to over soap. Most people don't realize this. It's real simple. Clean doesn't smell. If you put detergent in your washing machine and you wash your clothes, and when you're done and you pull them out of your washer, and you take a handful of that clothing and put it up to your nose and take a sniff, if it smells boutique fresh or whatever lavender scent that they put in the detergent, it's because there's still detergent in your clothing.
Shop with the experts. Nobody knows appliances like Michael's Appliance Center, 585 East Main Street, Middletown. Online at michaelsappliance.com.
Sports fans, ball knowers, gather ye round. Jake's Hot Takes is back. And we're talking about the Knicks once again. Yeah. And it's finally time to tackle the elephant. What is wrong with this team whenever we have to play the big dogs? The top three teams in the league, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Boston Celtics, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think most people would agree that those are the top three teams in the NBA. Maybe you'd flip around the order a little bit. I personally like to give the Celtics a little bit of championship credit. I think they're the best team in the NBA right now. But point is, the Knicks haven't beat any of them this season.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad against them too. Like, it's not just that they haven't been able to beat them. It hasn't been close. It's been a clear difference.
Yeah, there is a very obvious difference between the Knicks playing these top teams and these top teams playing each other. I mean, it just... Every time I see a game coming up against the Celtics or the Cavaliers or the Thunder, or even a team like the Nuggets, maybe not one of the 3 best teams in the NBA, but I cringe a little bit, and I get a little scared, and I get a little sad, because I know that this team is just, it feels like we're not built to actually go and beat championship level teams,
Yeah. It definitely is frustrating, and you definitely want to see them take down a good team. And on the next game they're playing Memphis, so they have a chance to take on a good team and prove that they're still one of the top teams in the league, which I think that they definitely have the potential to be. It's been frustrating that they haven't lived up to it, especially defensively. But, they have a lot of new additions right now. They have McCall, who they just got this season. They have Cat, who they just got this season. So they still have to gel a lot defensively. And it's just frustrating that Thibodeau hasn't figured out the defense, is really what it is for me.
Yeah, but you know what? One of what I think might be the biggest problem holding this team back. Mm-hmm. So we're going to play a little game here, all right? You at home, I want you to do it too. Not if you're driving. If you're driving, ignore exactly what I'm about to say. But if you're sitting at home and listening to this, go and pull up the Knicks season averages for this season and take a look at the points of all the players on the roster. Do you happen to notice anything? I'll give you guys a second to pull up the website, but do you notice anything? Oh, I do. It's the fact that aside from 3 guys on our bench, nobody on that bench does anything.
Yeah.
It's like they got an entire half a roster of an NBA team to just sit around and do nothing. Aside from the top 5 guys, Brunson, Towns, Bridges, Anunoby, and Hart, you got Miles McBride, who puts up 9 points a game, Cameron Payne and Precious Achiuwa, who had both gotten some starting looks while there were injuries. They tried out Achiuwa a little bit at the center position, trying to see if he could fill that Mitchell Robinson role. Newsflash, he couldn't. He just couldn't get it done. And none of these guys on the bench, I don't have any faith in any of our bench players to get anything done. I'm so serious. If it's not the top 5 guys, I'm not expecting anything from them.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair after how the bench has performed this season, especially. But with Mitch Robinson coming back, it seems like either Josh Hart or Mikal Bridges are going to be moved to the bench. So that really will help the bench going forward, I feel like.
I know. It's just, it's something that I notice. You go into the box score of any Knicks game, and it's like we can't even have a bench guy like get close to getting like a decent scoring performance. I mean, I'm sure there's been a few, but as of late, it has just not been the case. If your name doesn't start with Jalen, Carl, Mikhail, OG, or Josh, you are just not performing well for this team. And that's the difference, man. The Thunder, they can go, 8 deep and still have guys that can perform on the bench. The Celtics can go 8 deep and still have guys that come in and perform. The Knicks, I mean, they got 8 guys that can play basketball, but aside from that, I wouldn't say the bench of this team is much of anything.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the Knicks is I'm looking at their upcoming schedule, and to me, it doesn't seem like there's any of those really great teams on their upcoming schedule. I would say, obviously, the Grizzlies is coming up. The Lakers is coming up. They have Luka now, so that should be a pretty interesting game. But it feels like they have a bit of a stretch with the Clippers, who are an all-right team, and the Trailblazers, all-right team. They play the Warriors twice. So it seems like this is a bit of a mid part of their schedule, and this could be a time where they take it back a little bit. I mean, they have the Heat twice, they play the Spurs, the Hornets, the Wizards. So this is an area of their schedule where they can really figure things out, where Mitchell Robinson can come in and get used to things where they can take on the next big team that they need to play.
Yeah, I mean, we don't play any of the big 3 teams until we play Cleveland in April. Yeah. So we definitely have a lot of time. And honestly, I love this buffer for Mitchell Robinson to come back and kind of find his way on the team again, because that's something that they don't really talk about, is the difficulty of adjusting back in after being injured for so long.
And I think to end the season is what I'm looking at. They play the Cavs twice and the Celtics once in their last 5 games. So that is going to be a really big tone setter for the playoffs come time, because the Knicks will make the playoffs.
Definitely.
They're playing to that level, and there's no reason to think that they won't make the playoffs looking at their remaining schedule. So that will be a massive tone setter to see how they perform against the Cavs and the Celtics going into the postseason.
I completely agree. I think those are probably going to be the games that kind of determine the vibes that we're going into the postseason with. But anyway, we're pivoting to a little football because I know you guys love it when we talk football, and I love talking football myself. I love football. The Buffalo Bills paid Khalil Shakir. They paid him pretty much exactly what James Cook was publicly requesting.
Yeah, they gave him a $60 million deal, 4-year, $60 million deal with like $30 million guaranteed. Do you think this is worth it for Khalil Shakir?
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
I have to disagree. I think Khalil Shakir is great. I think for what the Bills ask him to do, he's more than worth it. He's by far their best receiver right now.
Yeah, but that's not saying much. This is the weakest this Bills wide receiver core has looked in the Josh Allen era, I would say. Just the absence of a prime Stephon Diggs, who, you know, Josh Allen has had for a pretty decent chunk of at least his good career. I know that, you know, a lot of people say he didn't get good until he got Diggs in the first place, but that's not the conversation we're having. Diggs had a season-ending injury. Josh Allen's the MVP, all right? We're living in a world where Josh Allen is good, independent of Stephon Diggs. But I can't help but see this as the Bills taking a shot at James Cook. Honestly.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think they should, if they're going to pay Shakir, they should absolutely pay James Cook, is my takeaway from this, though.
It wouldn't surprise me if they didn't, though. This team, the running back market, we've been talking a lot about how Saquon and Derrick Henry are going to change the running back market, but that does not mean that the running back market is still has been actively changed yet.
Yeah.
You know, you still need some big contracts to come in and really set the tone. Saquon blew the doors open, but that doesn't mean that Buffalo's walking through, you know?
The thing is that the Saquon addition to the Eagles was a much more of it was a win more addition.
Yeah.
They didn't sign Saquon to fill a pressing hole on their roster, even though running back was a need. They signed Saquon to close out games and to win more. It's not like a running back is going to add too many wins to your season total, but a wide receiver like Khalil Shakir, he's great in the slot, in the middle of the field. I really like him. They found him late in the draft. I think it's worth it. I really do. For the next 4 years, they're going to let him develop.
I think, personally, for me, if I were a GM, I think a deal within, like, maybe the $15 million is the right price point, but maybe not 4 years, maybe 3 years, or maybe do like a $12 million over 4 years. I just feel like, especially since this was the exact amount that James Cook asked for, I can't help but see this as Buffalo taking a stance and saying, no, we're still going to value our wide receivers over our running backs. We're not falling for the trend.
So what would you do if you were James Cook? Would you accept less, or are you taking your talents elsewhere?
I would walk. And go find a team that's going to pay me. Because Buffalo, in my mind at least, Buffalo has made it clear that they are not interested in paying James Cook what he thinks he's worth. And I think that's going to be a huge mistake on Buffalo's part. I think James Cook is really good, and I think he was a top 5 running back in the NFL last year. And I think that his talents would be valuable on any team. I don't think he was a Josh Allen or a Sean McDermott or a Bills offensive line merchant. I just think that he was a really good running back, and I think that he was a much better running back than Khalil Shakir was wide receiver. And I would say that James Cook also played a much more important role in the Bills' offense than Khalil Shakir, as good as he was, because he did have a good season this year. But James Cook had a really good season this year.
Yeah.
I just find it baffling that Buffalo was not jumping on the first opportunity to sign Cook long term, because, I mean, this is war.
Well,
you know?
Buffalo has tried a lot of experiments at receiver, especially last year. I mean, they signed Curtis Samuel. He didn't do anything. traded for Amari Cooper. He didn't do anything. They signed Marcus Valdes-Scantling. He didn't do anything.
Marcus Valdes-Scantling was a Bill.
He was signed to the Bills in the beginning of the season, and then they cut him.
That is absurd.
He didn't catch a single ball.
That is absurd.
They signed Crow Samuel, Marcus Valdes-Scantling. They drafted Keon Coleman. He's been largely unimpactful as a Buffalo Bill. So I like that they're committing to Khalil Shakir here.
Yeah, I guess it's just stability for the Bills at this point. But when we get back, an old friend is on the move, and he might be coming to the Big Apple. Make sure to stay tuned for all your Matthew Stafford to the New York Giants move. He hasn't been traded yet, but he might be on his way soon, so stay tuned. Jake's Hot Takes.
Thinking about remodeling your kitchen or bath? Wayne's Way Wholesale Cabinets has a great selection of all wood cabinets in the styles and colors to make your remodeling dreams come to life. Go to wayneswaycabinets.com for more info. Wayne's Way Cabinets, 1829 South Road, Wappingers Falls. Call 845-280-0880. Stop by and talk to Wayne today. You'll be glad you did. CDS Auto and Truck Repair is your 5-star one-stop shop for all your vehicle's needs from A to Z, offering full vehicle diagnostics. Towing is available, and they now offer fleet service. CDS Auto and Truck Repair. Call 845-563-9987. That's 845-563-9987. CDS Auto and Truck Repair, 2917 Route 9W, New Windsor.
Herring Septic wants your crap. Herring Septic loves taking crap from everybody. Herring Septic, they really don't give a crap what other septic companies say because they know they're full of crap. Herring Septic has been taking crap from everybody for the past 50 years. So why not let them take your crap? We'll take your crap. Herring Septic does it all, from residential, commercial, pumping, installing, and they even rent porta potties for those of you who give a crap. Visit herringseptic.com. That's herringseptic.com if you give a crap.
The Roma Deli, 237 Myers Corners Road, Wappingers Falls, is your neighborhood family-owned and operated deli, offering breakfast, lunch, and catering options. The Roma Deli has brought a little piece of the Bronx to Wappingers, including fresh-made sandwiches, Italian specialties, and desserts, all prepared and cooked in-house with authentic Italian ingredients. Their large menu provides lots of options to personalize your order to your taste. Vegan and vegetarian options available. The Roma Deli, offering catering that is perfect for any party or business function. Go to romadeli1.com or call 845-297-1200.
Michael's Appliances presents Ask Andy, the appliance expert. Andy, we've been talking about suds left over in the wash. What else should we know?
Soap companies do a great job of taking a wild guess at it, and they do a better job at marketing their product to make money. That's what they're doing. They'll tell you that liquids are better than powders. Liquids are much cheaper for them to produce and ship because they can ship it concentrated, cut it with water at the final mile before they deliver it to the store. And it almost guarantees that you're going to over soap. Most people don't realize this. It's real simple. Clean doesn't smell. If you put detergent in your washing machine and you wash your clothes, and when you're done and you pull them out of your washer, and you take a handful of that clothing and put it up to your nose and take a sniff, if it smells boutique fresh or whatever lavender scent that they put in the detergent, it's because there's still detergent in your clothing.
Shop with the experts. Nobody knows appliances like Michael's Appliance Center, 585 East Main Street, Middletown. Online at michaelsappliance.com.
Hello, New York sports fans. It is time to talk about the Giants.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Kind of the Giants. More
Kind
of
of.
a Rams discussion, I think, than the Giants.
There's a lot of facets to this. There's a lot of facets. So the Giants only have one quarterback on their roster right now. I think it is Drew Lock.
Yes, Drew Lock.
Yeah, they let Tommy go. Obviously, Daniel Jones was released. And I'm going to be real with you. I don't think Drew Lock is the future for New York.
Definitely not. I mean, the Giants are not. I don't really like the idea of them trading for Stafford, though. I mean, what Stafford wants in the end is he wants the Rams or any other organization to pay him before he retires. He wants one last contract, which is understandable. He wants one last contract, and the Rams have made it clear that they don't want to give him that last contract.
Right.
So this is more of like a trade, and then he gets a contract. So the Giants would have to do is they'd have to trade for Stafford, and which would probably be their top. I don't know what pick they are. They're probably like top 5 pick right now.
Third overall.
Their third overall. They'd have probably trade their third overall pick and then sign a 40-year-old Stafford to like a 3-4 year deal. So I just don't think that's worth it for the Giants where they're at their franchise right now.
If Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders were both drafted with the first and second overall pick, do you think that this is a move that the Giants should pursue if the top 2 quarterbacks in the draft get taken off the board? Because that's a very realistic possibility coming into this draft.
No, I think the Giants really need a talent upgrade, and signing Stafford is not going to fix their offensive line. Signing Stafford is not going to fix their receiving quals, even though they have a great receiver. It's not going to fix anything about their team. And what the Giants need to do right now is they need to go best player available in this draft because they just need a talent upgrade is really what it is.
I don't disagree with you. I actually love the idea of Matt Stafford going to the Giants, but it's that first round pick that really irks me.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford in no way is worth, especially at the age he's at now, Matthew Stafford is in no way worth the 3rd overall pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
He's just not going to be bad enough, or he's just not going to be good for long enough. I mean, all it takes is Jalen Carter coming off a blind side and just laying Stafford out, and that's pretty much the end of his career.
And how bad this Giants offensive line is.
Yeah, and playing on MetLife too. Are you kidding me? That's an Achilles injury just waiting to happen.
Yeah, I just wouldn't do it. And but the thing is, I don't really understand. I really just think the Rams should just pay Stafford.
You think so?
I don't understand why they're contenders right now. They were contenders last year. They almost beat the Eagles, which is pretty great considering how good the Eagles were the rest of the postseason outside of that one game against the Rams.
Yeah.
So it really makes you think if they were able to pull that game out against the Eagles, they probably could have won the whole thing. So I don't understand why they wouldn't just run it back and give a chance to build on this core with Stafford. And now they're going to make Nakua the number 1, even though he was number 1. They're going to commit to Nakua over Kupp. And the general manager of the Rams, Les Snead, has just been great the past 5 years.
Yeah, certainly been great.
I think they could totally build on this core and make it farther than they did last year.
So you don't want Stafford to leave LA at all?
No,
you want him to just buckle down?
I think it's in the Rams' best interest to just stay with Stafford because he is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Not only one of the best quarterbacks, I also think he's one of the best floor elevators.
Yeah.
When it comes to the wide receiver talent that he has around him, that's honestly the big crux of why I think Stafford in New York would actually be really good for the team. Again, just not for the 3rd overall pick, because Stafford is a guy who has always been able to get the best out of his wide receivers. And seeing a guy like Malik Neighbors and a Giants core which, honestly, aside from Nakua and Kupp, the role players for the wide receivers on the Giants are not that much worse than the role players for the Rams, you know? Yeah. I'll hear out the Wan'Dale Robinson over Van Jefferson or the... Gosh, why can't I even think of another Giants receiver? Give me another Giants receiver.
Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, Jalen Hyatt over
DeMarcus
Robinson. Yeah. It's just I would have faith in Stafford to really elevate this Giants receiving core into a dangerous passing attack. And if the offensive line is what would inevitably cripple that, then that is a situation that I could also totally see. But the thing that Stafford really brings is just a guy that you know is going to be able to make the throws.
Very true.
New York has not had a guy that you just know is going to make the throw since Eli Manning, even before Eli Manning retired. Because in those last couple of years that he played for New York, he absolutely was not a guy that you were sure was going to make the throw.
Now let me ask you this. Do you think the Giants would trade that 3rd overall pick for Stafford and Kupp combined?
Do I think they should, or do I think they would?
If that was offered, do you think they should? For Stafford and Kupp combined, and then just like some other late round picks.
Yeah.
3rd next year or 2nd next year.
Some other garbage.
This year's first round, a 2nd next year, and some late round picks and stuff like that.
No, I don't think they should do
Stafford
that.
and Kupp.
I see. That's an interesting question because I like Cooper Kupp, And I still think he actually has some juice left in the tank, but not for the 3rd overall pick is just what I keep saying. Let's not trade a super old guy for a super young guy right now, especially when that super young guy could be Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible that Travis Hunter ends up falling to that 3rd spot. And I think that's what LA is banking on when they sell Stafford. I think they want to get that 3rd overall pick, and I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback. I think that they're going to go and get the best player available in the draft, and at that moment, it'll probably be Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors floating around that the Rams might sign Sam Darnold to some kind of deal. Now that he's most likely going to be out of Minnesota to let J.J. McCarthy finally come in and recognize the all-pro quarterback that he was meant to be or something.
Yeah.
But how would you feel about that? Because if the Rams did end up trading that for that 3rd overall pick and they had that 3rd overall pick, do you think they would even go for a quarterback at this point?
Not draft a quarterback. They would probably sign Darnold.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What are they going to do? Just draft a rookie and then just let their window go to waste? They must have some plan if they're willing to trade Stafford.
Yeah.
And I think that signing Darnold would be a good idea for the Rams at that point if they're going to trade Stafford. The thing about that is that I don't think Darnold really rises the Rams' ceiling. I think Darnold lowers the Rams' ceiling more than Stafford has the ceiling right now. If that
really?
Makes sense.
So you think that?
I think the Rams can win a Super Bowl with Stafford. I don't think they could win one with Darnold.
Really?
I don't think Darnold is going to win a Super Bowl.
See, I just never thought that Matthew Stafford was really the driving force behind that Rams team. I always thought that it was much more just roster strength in general.
Well,
they got good guys in every position, but I never really got the impression that Matt Stafford was the reason that the Rams were winning a lot of these games, you know? Yeah. He was a byproduct of it, and he definitely didn't make mistakes that would lose you a game. But I never really watched Stafford and think to myself, like, wow, he is the reason that they're winning this game. And that's honestly the same vibes that I get watching Sam Darnold. Yeah. He's not the reason they're winning this game, but he's definitely helping, and he can definitely get it done if the coaching and the other talent surrounding him can do their jobs. But I mean, that's just me. Who else do you think the Giants could go after, or not the Giants, the Rams could go after if not Sam Darnold?
I mean, they could just let Jimmy Garoppolo take the helm for a season if they want. Or they could, they can let Stetson Bennett take the realm.
Yeah.
If Stetson Bennett is even on the team anymore.
I don't know. Yeah, Stetson Bennett. That is a name, man. What, like a 36-year-old college quarterback?
And he was on the Rams.
yeah,
and he is still on the Rams.
Wow,
so
all right.
They could let Stetson Bennett take that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it might be Stetson season coming up here. We'll just have to wait and see.
You know, I'm looking at a Sports Illustrated headline, and it says, Rams give Matthew Stafford permission to talk to others. What it means for Stetson Bennett.
Wow.
I think I just have to read that.
The publications are ready.
The public needs to know this.
They're ready for Stetson season.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is going to do it for today's episode, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Big news. We have an Instagram now. I forgot to mention it at the beginning, but we have an Instagram now, Jakes_hot_takes_WGNY. Make sure you follow. We're going to be posting episode announcements, and hit our DMs. If you want to take on the show, hit our DMs, and we'll talk about it there. So thank you, everyone, for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay tuned. Next episode is going to be this Sunday at noon. Jake's Hot Takes. Thank you for watching. If you're listening to this, you are great. Have a great day.